Moving swiftly on, the next item of business today is a members' business debate on motion number 5670 in the name of Christina-McKelvie on #Scotland Hour. This debate will be concluded without any questions being put. I would invite those members who wish to speak in the debate to please press the request to speak buttons now or as soon as possible. I would invite members who are leaving the chamber to do so as quickly and quietly, and that refers to the gallery as well, please. And I call on Christina-McKelvie. 7 minutes, please, Ms McKelvie.
Thank you very much, Deputy Presiding Officer. It is my great pleasure to lead this debate today to talk about an effective and simple way to ensure that Scotland is recognised as one of the greatest places on this earth to visit. If you are visiting from abroad or you live here, then #Scotland Hour is the place to go to get positive and at times very local information about things to do, to see and to eat in Scotland. Deputy Presiding Officer, we all know that Scotland, the brand, is a very powerful brand indeed. And it was this brand and a love for Scotland that brought the group together who came up with #Scotland Hour. Created by Douglas Baird in August 2011, it was the first time that Twitter was used in this way to promote a destination. #Scotland Hour is refreshing and inspiring. It gives up-to-date factual information about Scotland and at times lovely, quirky pointers for travellers. Joined by Mark Kaplan, who I am delighted to say is the General Manager at the Holiday Inn Express in Hamilton in my constituency, Fiona Drain, Director of the Bright Light Marketing and Agency working to get business noticed. We also have Susan McNaughton, who is the owner of Sandcastle Holidays and now working with social media to promote festivals and events around the Borders and Fife. And with Susan, we have Aileen Lamb, a tourism manager with Scottish Enterprise. Aileen has been helping Destination Group Visit St Andrews to develop their programme, a place very, very close to my heart indeed. Deputy Presiding Officer, I am delighted to welcome the #Scotland Hour team to the gallery today. They have been tweeting all morning about coming along, so they have been given the Scottish Parliament some of that input as well, as far as the network that they have for getting the point across about what's good to visit in Scotland. This group of people just decided that they could provide a great service to travellers to Scotland and to boost their tourism. They didn't do it for any other reason than to do that. And rather than wait for someone else to do it, they just got on and did it. And it's that type of innovation and imagination that actually Scotland is pretty famous for. Now, the last Scotland Hour, which was only a few weeks ago, and its last airing, had an audience of 596,000 people. On Twitter. That's a huge, huge audience. And as they say, they got all that advertising for free. It's worth looking at and participating in the tweets during the monthly hour of dedicated chat on the last Wednesday of each month. And on top of this tweet chat, they are building up a website, which will be www.scotlandhour.com, surprisingly, to make it an excellent resource for people who are considering visiting Scotland or to give those already coming the inside information and the very best things that our fine country has to offer. The #Scotland Hour team are all doing this without any backing or sponsorship, just for the greater good of the tourism industry in our country, and that's very, very commendable. Deputy Presiding Officer, one of the links tells us that there are 23 reasons to visit Scotland, and I think there are many, many good reasons to visit Scotland, but here are some of the 23 that are listed. And Insider Scotland, that's on their website, says that these 23 reasons that you should visit Scotland in 2013. The coast with the most, our golf, like Gleneagles, the Ryder Cup, our whisky, of course, obviously in small measures, our adventure sports, our prehistory, our fantastic food, which I think we're all testament to in this chamber, our Celtic culture, Celtic connections, the Highland Games, all of these things. Our football, not a huge fan, however, I know that many, many are, and those memories of how we always managed to clutch disaster from the jaws of victory, our Scotland team. We have the West Highland Line. I've had the great pleasure of being on that steam train. We have our wildlife, which is just fascinating for us all, but absolutely a great draw for photographers and others from around the world. And we have our 7 cities, and it's worth mentioning them all: Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Dundee, Inverness, Stirling, and our new city of Perth. We have our festivals, Celtic Connections, the Edinburgh Festival, the biggest arts festival on the planet. Our world-class engineering. Scottish engineering is famous around the world and highlights in Scotland range from the Forth Road Bridge to the jaw-dropping Falkirk Wheel. We have our mountains, I'm a bit of a committed mountain climber myself, but I don't get the opportunity as much these days. But our mountains inspire us, and I don't think anybody has taken the drive through Glencoe without having the hairs in the back of their neck stand up. Our tartan, our fabric of Scotland, something that shows how colourful and intertwined we all are. Our kilts, we do like a man in a kilt, and we do like some ladies in tartan tights, which I have been known to wear in the chamber. Our monsters, and we have many of them, and not just in this chamber, Presiding Officer, but in our lochs and in our forests. We have our music, as I have said, from Big Country to Simple Minds, to Franz Ferdinand, Belle and Sebastian, to the likes of Rod Stewart, who would like to be Scottish, but maybe mercifully isn't. But we welcome his interest anyway. Our literary talents, from Robert Burns, we've just celebrated Burns series, and Auld Lang Syne, Sir Walter Scott, to Irvine Welsh and Alistair Gray. Scotland overflows with this talent. Our world heritage. We have 5 impressive UNESCO World Heritage sites: Edinburgh's Old and New Town here, Orkney's prehistoric sites, Hadrian's Wall, St Kilda, and locally to me, New Lanark. And we have Brave, the movie. Fantastic movie that shows Scotland at its best. We have Hogmanay. Well, we know how to party in Scotland, and we should always remember that we like to do that partying with visitors from abroad, and we love to have people here. We have our Christmas light celebrations across Edinburgh and Glasgow and other cities. And number 23 on that list, Presiding Officer, is the Year of Natural Scotland. And the Scottish Government and Visit Scotland have designated 23 the Year of Natural Scotland to celebrate this unique country of 283 mountains, over 3,000 feet and 800 islands, with its beautiful and bountiful wildlife, from sea eagles to killer whales. But, Presiding Officer, I have decided to increase that from 23 to 25. 24 being, not surprisingly, fantastic areas you can visit in Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse. Low Parks Museum, walks with old ancient oaks in Chatelherault, maybe a visit to Morgan Glen, or a trip to the beautiful Covenanters Church in the stunning village of Dalserf, all rounded off with an ice cream afterwards from award winners Equus and Hamilton. The Deputy Presiding Officer, I did extend it one more to 25, because it would not be complete without a fantastic visit to our very own Scottish Parliament. So can I ask you all to congratulate Dougie, Mark, Fiona, Susan, Aileen and Leslie for having the initiative to use social media to promote our land. I believe that others across the UK and wider are now copying this great initiative. Our land, our Scotland, is all the better for the imagination and drive of the Scotland Hour team. We wish them well and look forward to the 27th of March, when we will all be tweeting about Scotland's playground, activities, outdoors and sports. And given that the Commonwealth Games and the Ryder Cup come next year, this is a very relevant topic indeed to encourage people to come and visit Scotland. Remember, #Scotland Hour, and I move the motion in my name. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and certainly a lot of information in there. I now call on Malcolm Chisholm to be followed by Fiona MacLeod.
Presiding Officer, I would like to congratulate Christina-McKelvie on drawing our attention to #Scotland Hour and the innovative use of social media that it will continue to pioneer over the coming years. Like Christina-McKelvie, I would also like to congratulate those who established #Scotland Hour. In this year of natural Scotland, we at the Parliament should look to celebrate the beauty of the natural environment around us by using our technological resources to promote our assets. Those assets that keep bringing tourists to our shores, and in fact that keep me holidaying in Scotland every summer. Spending by tourists in Scotland averages at around £4 billion each year and supports around 200,000 jobs. So maintaining the interests of tourists is vital to the economic success of Scotland. This is true most of all for the rural communities who rely on a successful high season to sustain their economies throughout the low season of winter. Since mid-2011, the Scotland Hour website has advertised the new hashtag and encouraged users to engage in topical tweets at a set time each month, with topics that carry their own themed hashtags such as #active, #walk, #food or #travel. The host then asks a series of questions on that theme. This sorts the discussion into categories and makes it easier for visitors to navigate between the tweets in the days and months after they've been fed onto the live stream. What is essentially created is a catalogue of tips and links that keep tourists up to date with what's available, and also allows them to ask the questions that will help them make the most of their stay. It is a truly innovative way to engage travellers with instant reciprocal information and is a chance to create a real online community of shared interest based around our new and existing tourist attractions. As the website reminds us, no one else has used Twitter to promote tourism. The facility this provides has proved to be enormously popular, as the hashtag has featured in the Scottish trending categories in the past. We could, however, perhaps consider the merit of endorsing Scotland Hour as a promoted trend in future over the assigned time each month. This might ensure that the promotion would gain maximum traffic and would make the most of the time that is available. The Scottish Government Tourism Framework for Change highlights that such innovation will be necessary if the ambition to increase tourism revenues to Scotland by 50% by 2015 is to be realised, and if we are indeed to succeed in making the country one of the world's foremost tourism destinations. Scotland Hour could also benefit the tourism industry in helping to achieve some of the key changes highlighted in the Government's Framework for Change. For example, the tweets that feed into each session could provide a valuable resource for managing the quality of the visitor experience. Recommendations and indeed criticisms could be used by businesses and other stakeholders to promote certain assets and improve others. It would also help in contributing towards greater access to information across Scotland in a sustained and economically efficient manner. Twitter as a resource for promotion is free, accessible, and as most in the Chamber who use it will be aware, opens up a whole new world of reciprocal information that, when managed properly, can provide a clear narrative and dialogue between thousands of people. In their report, Growing Pains, the Economy, Energy and Tourism Committee also highlight one of the key issues in achieving the growth the sector requires is properly recognising the role of technology, electronic communication and marketing, and that's a quote from their report. When you look at the Government agenda for change over the coming years, it is clear how well the innovative steps being taken by Scotland Hour fit in with our broader aims and objectives. It is a clear remit of modernising the tourism industry and making our ancient monuments and historic landscapes accessible to all in the digital realm. The ability to upload links and photos serves as a route to even more effective advertising. In conclusion, as a regular tweeter and massive fan of the Scottish countryside myself, I heartily endorse this great new initiative and commend Christina-McKelvie for bringing it to our attention today.
Many thanks. I now call on Fiona MacLeod to be followed by Alex Johnson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And can I begin by thanking Christina-McKelvie for bringing this interesting and innovative debate to Parliament today, and also join Christina and Malcolm in congratulating Christina-McKelvie and Malcolm Chisholm in congratulating Dougie Baird and his fellow tweeters. I'm not a prolific tweeter, but I do look forward on Wednesday the 27th of March to becoming one of that 500,000 audience taking part in Scotland Hour. And I do think it's very appropriate that it's here in this very modern Parliament that speaks for Scotland that we are talking about something so innovative and interesting. But the Chamber would not be surprised that I now want to spend most of my remarks talking about how we can tweet Strathkelvin and Bearsden and the fantastic tourism opportunities that I have in my constituency. For the 27th of March, Scotland's Playground, as Christina-McKelvie has already mentioned, I'll be tweeting about Lennox Forest in my constituency, where I regularly walk the dog, great trails, beautiful views of the Campsies, but also for the future we're hoping through a social enterprise called Rebound to actually have mountain biking in the forest. On Wednesday the 29th of May, walks. Now that's a hashtag for me, that's my favourite pastime. I've already mentioned the Campsie Fells in my constituency. And next week I'm going off to meet the Forestry Commission to hear about the work that they're thinking of doing at the back of Clachan of Campsie. And I do find it so interesting that we are managing to get all different agencies working together, and one of the themes that they have is tourism. I mean, when I was young, walking in the Forestry Commission was just about growing trees to cut them down and turn them into paper. But increasingly, when the Forestry Commission is doing that core business, at the same time they're talking about trails and waymarks, etc., so that we can bring folk out to the countryside. And then there's Wednesday the 26th of June, #water. Well, Kirkintilloch is the canal capital of Scotland, so we'll definitely be tweeting on June the 26th. And I think it's interesting, I hope the Chamber will be interested to know that tomorrow Parliament is having the first marine tourism conference here for the whole day, with I think it's about 100 delegates attending, so we get the significance of all this. In closing, could I ask the innovators of this idea for, I need a historic hashtag, please. I'm a history graduate, as most folk know, but in my constituency, already mentioned by Christina-McKelvie, we have the Antonine Wall, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I see we don't have a historic night in the months up to December, but can I put in a plea as someone who loves Scottish castles and as a history graduate, can we have a historic Scotland Hour next year, please? In closing, again, thank you, Christina-McKelvie, for bringing this really interesting topic to us, and thanks to those that are doing this, and I really do look forward to being part of that 500,000 people. Thank you.
Many thanks. Now call on Alex Johnson, after which we'll move to the Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Presiding Officer. I would like to take the opportunity to also congratulate Christine-McKelvie in bringing this forward. It's a very interesting debate, and one, I have to say, to which I am very new. I am not even a signatory to this motion, but I will hope to put that right by paying a few complimentary comments during the course of this debate. In fact, my colleague Mary Scanlon should have participated in this debate, but unfortunately has been called away due to a family illness. However, my late arrival to this subject should not curb my enthusiasm, because what I've been able to read in the short time since I discovered that I would be participating, and what I've heard during the course of this debate, has given me a great deal of cause for optimism. The use of IT in general, and websites in particular, is something that government is not very good at. We've seen billions wasted on planned IT systems for the health service. We've even seen Visit Scotland have some serious problems in the past and had some significant inefficiencies as a result of failures within their website. However, the decentralised approach to using IT, modern technology and social media in particular is something which lends itself to a low-cost and highly inclusive approach to advertising what Scotland has to offer. I believe that what we are seeing with #Scotland Hour is an opening up of opportunity where individuals can retain control of a structure that does not cost a fortune to maintain. And that advantage is something which not only our tourist industry, but many other parts of our society could learn from. I, of course, like many others in this chamber, have something to promote as a result of this debate. And I have to put up my hands and claim that I'm guilty in having recently promoted what I hope will become a Macbeth trail around Scotland, which will allow individuals to follow the sites that connect directly either to the real Macbeth, who lived 1,000 years ago, or to Shakespeare's Macbeth, which we've discovered through study of history bears little or no resemblance to the reality. Yet there is an opportunity there to promote yet another interest in Scotland's tradition and history, which will draw international visitors. And I hope to take the opportunity to at least use some of the lessons I've learned from studying what Scotland Hour has achieved to ensure that we can promote that on a low-cost basis. So, bringing my remarks to a conclusion, I have to thank Christina-McKelvie for bringing this issue to my attention. I am delighted to offer my support to her motion, and I look forward to finding out a great deal more about Scotland Hour and being a participant in some of their later activities in future. So, with that, I look forward to hearing the Minister's response to this debate.
Thank you very much. I now call on Minister Fergus Ewing. Up to 7 minutes, please, Minister.
Presiding Officer, as you're aware, I've had the opportunity to take part in possibly several hundred debates in this Parliament, and I think it's probably, without being derogatory to any of the participants in those debates over 13 years, you couldn't always say that they have been fun. Today, I think, with the opening speech from Christina-McKelvie, I was kind of bowled over with her remarks. It was not only an advertorial for the manifold attractions of this country of ours for tourists, but it was also delivered in a way which I can only describe as a sort of tsunami of enthusiasm for Scotland and a passion for our country. So I warmly congratulate Christina for bringing this important topic today. I think perhaps for the first time, Presiding Officer, debating this topic in relation to tourism. I think she's done us a great favour, and I would also welcome to the gallery all of those who have made #Scotland Hour such an extraordinary success. And the immediacy and relevance of social media is becoming increasingly apparent to us all, even those such as myself who haven't really either got the hang or become regular participants in social media. I'll say this, Presiding Officer, and I hope it's not going to be misquoted at me in future, but I really must do better. Don't use that out of context, please, Mr Johnson, in relation to other topics, because it is more and more important. It's part of life now, particularly for those who are on the correct side of 30. And the latest Visit Scotland research showed that in 2012, no less than 1 in 3 visitors shared their trip experiences online whilst they were still in Scotland. So 1/3 of all the visitors to our country talked about Scotland online. That's entirely new. I mean, in the old days we would send a postcard, but these days online communication goes to all their friends and family, and then it can be passed on to a very wide audience all over the world. So as a method of communicating positive messages, the opportunities are truly infinite, and these are, as Malcolm Chisholm quite rightly said, things that we must take advantage of. And Alex Johnson said, I think correctly too, that governments aren't really perhaps best placed as institutions to be alive to and respond quickly enough to the opportunities that derive from these new technologies. After their trip, nearly half of all visitors in Scotland used an online platform to talk about their trip. And we've seen some truly innovative tweets and fine examples of these. Not only can we send stunning pictures of Scotland, but recently we saw the Canadian astronaut Commander Chris Hadfield, who tweeted from the International Space Station, and I suppose you could say that that tweet was quite literally out of this world. So such endorsements are helpful in attracting visitors to Scotland, and we want the Scottish Government to be open, alive to the opportunities that these social media provide. Visit Scotland are terrific at marketing. Their efforts have been acknowledged worldwide. This year began, Presiding Officer, by CNN, the international news outlet, listing Scotland as the country to go to, the top country, the best country, the leading country out of around 200 countries in the world. What a tremendous accolade. When I heard that early morning in the news, Presiding Officer, I thought I must find out exactly what the rationale was. And the rationale was that Visit Scotland's marketing, the winning years, the focus years, the year of food and drink, the year of Creative Scotland, the year of Natural Scotland, the year of homecoming, these create a bold vision of Scotland, a positive message, a positive portrayal of Scotland, and help to serve to create an image of Scotland, a perception of Scotland throughout the world, that it's an interesting, serious, not frivolous, but an interesting place, worth visiting, with a huge number and variety of attractions, as Christina-McKelvie correctly signified. So it does occur to me that on the #OurScotland, it would be very useful, actually, if those who are involved in this directly could give us their suggestions about what next examples, opportunities we might have in relation to focused years, because, of course, 2014 is the year of homecoming, and as I indicated earlier this week, Presiding Officer, we are looking at opportunities for 2015, 16, 17, 18. Perhaps #Scotland can look at what the suggestions may be, and we can get the benefit of suggestions from everybody all over the country. Policies shouldn't be about me and a group of people in the public sector making decisions. They should be taken and participate as a result of participation of everybody in Scotland. So I'm aware that the Blogman hashtag reached over 3.7 million users worldwide and produced over 1,000 images of Edinburgh's Hogmanay and Scotland in winter on social media channels. Increasingly, of course, all businesses involved in tourism are dependent on online for their bookings. Not to be online now is not really to be in tourism, and that raises the very important question of ensuring that the internet access and the speed of access is properly available throughout the country, and that's another topic, but one, of course, to which we and other parties are committed. Another important point, I think, Presiding Officer, to bear in mind is that visitor satisfaction surveys are very important to us, and 94% of visitors were satisfied with their trip to Scotland overall, and 98% will definitely or probably recommend Scotland based on their experiences. I imagine that many political parties would be quite pleased with a 98% rating. I suspect perhaps not in this lifetime, Presiding Officer. But such is the popularity of these figures that, of course, the value and the potential of hashtag hour of the social media, of use of the social media to further improve Scottish tourism, to further recruit people to come to Scotland, cannot be overestimated. This is Tourism Week, Presiding Officer, and we've already seen a number of great developments. We've seen a new visitor centre opened in Glasgow, on Buchanan Street in Glasgow, in masses of time for the Commonwealth Games, the Ryder Cup, to which Christina-McKelvie referred. And we've seen great opportunities being taken by many in Scotland to promote tourism as a great career and to train young people in all aspects of tourism. The Junior Chef competition, organised and run by Springboard in its 13th year, teaching teenagers how to cook to a standard, frankly, that was unimaginable 3 or 4 decades ago. The East Lothian Hospitality Academy, a partnership between business, Queen Margaret University, local council, with 40 volunteer S5 and S6 children taking part in university-type lectures as well as industry-type training. Of those 40, I met 4. All of them said that their personal confidence increased massively. That's an investment and an invaluable improvement, whatever they do. One of them told me that she didn't know there was such a thing as events tourism, and she was going to pursue that as a career. These type of things are the future for tourism in Scotland, and I hope that that is something that can be pursued further by the collective wisdom of those involved in hashtag and who participate on the Wednesday evening hourly debates. So, in closing, Presiding Officer, can I thank all of the contributors from the parties that have, from the members that have participated in this debate. It's an extremely useful debate. I want to see what more we can do in government to work with the organisation that's brought so much credit to this country, and to see how we can work with them, how we can develop and achieve even more for this great country of ours through the use of social media.
Many thanks. And that concludes the debate on hashtag Scotland Hour, and I now suspend this meeting of Parliament until 2:30. Thank you very much.